So, one of the examples of Sigrid using a concept within this sophomore album, How to Let Go, is through using a concept and making it a catalyst for positive outcomes. And that is done with her first single called Mirror, which was released on May 26, 2021, according to an article from DIY in 2021. And the song entails about self-love and, quote, the personal processes it requires, as well as the idea of self-acceptance and learning to be honest with yourself. And that's also from Murray in 2021. From this basic overview of what the song talks about and sings about, it presents Sigrid with this overarching concept that acts as like the framework for the entire project of how to let go of doubts and fears in a positive, holistic manner. In this session, Sigrid first focuses on the issues of body dysmorphia and body image, what you see in the mirror, and teaches her audience to let go of the dislike or uncertainty of liking one's body and accepting the confidence that one should have with their body and looking at yourself in the mirror. This inevitably, on first listen, proves how the concept is used initially for this idea of a positive outcome, used almost as like a tonic to improve audiences' self-worth. Delving into the content of the song lyrically, Sigrid sings about her own lack of confidence and her personal experiences with uncertainty of body in the first verse. She sings, "There was an emptiness. I think you met me at a strange time and you anchored me. I felt anonymous and you were someone who reminded me of who I used to be." And that was gathered by Genius online. So from the first verse alone, Sigrid's taken the concept that she wants to magnify and heal herself from, and essentially talks about herself and her insecurities, almost securing the tone and the purpose that the audience needs to grasp and emote with. And the use of negatively charged adjectives such as anonymous, empty, almost connotes to Sigrid's experience of her self-image, where this idea of being a mega pop star who comes from a Norwegian background can be quite alienating and secluding, where she feels like she needs to fit in, but she also wants to stay true to herself. It's very conflicting. Um, as the song crescendos into the chorus, Sigrid then pinpoints the exact message that she wants the song to have and resonate with audiences, where it's used in the form of a self-affirming mantra, which is, "I love who I see looking at me in the mirror." And this is very direct, sharp, bold, audacious, kind of like how Sigrid's artistry has come to be. And this lyric is the centerpiece of the main theme, being a quote that can be taken outside of the song's context and applied to people's situations of talking to themselves positively in the mirror, being comfortable with the reflection that they see outside, outside in public, or even just in private. And it also allows this honesty between Sigrid, the artist, and also her fans, for it to be relatable and honest and raw as well, as if you were looking at a mirror image in front of you. So the music video was released the same day, and I'm going to analyze the visuals of the music video and how I think they apply to this positive outcome that she's designed from initial lyric writing and then the song itself. So the music video starts at an empty parking lot. Sigrid drives into an empty parking lot, which I think symbolizes the idea of being lonely or isolated in your own insecurities, where there's a plastic bag with Broken Hearts Club on it flying in the wind and catches the antenna of the car. So I feel like it could be a pop culture reference to Katy Perry's Firework of, do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind wanting to start again? And I feel like that can also link back to the album of How to Let Go of fresh beginnings, letting go of what is holding you back from the past and then focusing on the future, which, especially in body image, there's a lot of change that needs to happen mentally and maybe even physically to feel confident about yourself. Then it kind of drifts from this present day dwelling to this almost fantasy kind of realm where there's different types of Sigrid that we see across the music video. One being where she's in a apartment room with a all indigo ensemble that she's wearing and a chameleon on her arm. And the idea of a chameleon being on the set and on her arm could symbolize the idea of changing colors and appearances, trying to make one fit with their surroundings, which can really heavily impact the idea of self-love, self-acceptance, self-image. And there's also a scene where it's kind of like a Renaissance painting where Sigrid's wearing a very pink, poofy dress, holding a pomegranate in one hand, where another version of her aims a bow and arrow at this pomegranate. And essentially, considering how pomegranates are an aphrodisiac in terms of their qualities as a fruit, but also with the use of the arrow, which can symbolize power, war, confidence, I feel like this is Sigrid trying to paint the idea of how she wants to be seen and how she wants to be a staple of power for people to look at. There's also another clip where we see Sigrid dressed in all green in a wooden ceiling bathroom, which is slanted down to make it look as if she's unmanageably sized compared to the room that she's in, which I think could relate to her fame and how that might have caused body dysmorphia issues, and how she might feel trapped in the industry and having to try and prove her authenticity to the audience. And there's also another scene where Sigrid is wearing like winter clothing, a hat, very warm clothes, all in white, and then she's doing snow angels in powder snow, which I think relates to her upbringing in Norway, where it's quite frequent that snowy weather and the mountains and stuff like that. And I think that could prove as a reason towards her casual and very functional style. Going into the last chorus, Sigrid is met with a mirror image of herself, which leads her to this desert kind of setting in the middle of nowhere, where she ends up doing a mirrored dance between herself and her mirror image, which I think showcases the pressure that we have of looking ourselves in the mirror and being comfortable and finding unison and harmony within this. But by the end of the song, we finally see them coexisting in the same space. They're doing the same moves, meaning they're in harmony. They're one with each other. And by the end of the song, they run into each other, which I think means that Sigrid finally finds peace with herself and her self-image. And as the song ends and then the music video starts to round off, we see Sigrid back in the car again, which makes me signify everything between the start and this end was all a fantasy in her head, which could be an idea of her reasoning with herself to let go of these insecurities and the pressures that she has in her head. But she looks in the mirror in front of her car, and she sees her reflection wink at her, and she turns around and it's no longer there. However, knowing that the presence of herself being supported and honored by her reflection, this inevitably shows how Sigrid's found peace with her image and with her, just her image and how she sees herself both in fame and also outside of fame as well. So essentially, Sigrid immediately showcases the idea of positive outcomes through this song in both the music video and in the song in terms of its content as well, where basically it has solidified the idea in many different mediums that she wants to make body positivity a key thing for people to let go of and for people to make good change towards themselves as people and how they see themselves as well.